international organizations, civil society members, ladies and gentlemen, and of course RICO, the engine of this forum. I am Nikunja Kishore Sundaray. I am the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. We are indeed very delighted to be here in the 2018 Asia-Pacific Clean Air Partnership Joint Forum. And the theme being Solutions, Landscapes for Clean Air. Why landscapes? Why not airscapes? Creative thinking is the best way of going forward in solving problems that have proved intractable over the past few decades. At the very outset, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to India. India is the global host of the World Environment Day on June 5th this year. And the theme is beating plastic pollution. That is, finding plastic solution. It will not be a day. We have already begun a series of activities. And we shall be very, very glad, Your Excellencies, who have graced this occasion, if you kindly visit India and participate in this World Environment Day. India was one of the early starters. If you go way back, Stockholm 1972, 1981, we had our Air Prevention Control of Pollution Act. Today, there has been a lot of talk about Delhi, indeed so. You'll be very glad to know that as far as Delhi is concerned, the Central Pollution Control Board has passed a series of notifications this year itself in January and March, just last fortnight, giving very clear timelines for bringing down pollution levels in Delhi. Because if I invite you on June 5th, I better have clean air, which my guests will breathe in Delhi. So given the fact that this has been notified, we expect the inspections to be carried out in transparent manners and enforcement done so that the goals are achieved in time. Just to give a feeling, I'm indeed the last speaker, so I will not put you to sleep. I'll just put a few things before you so that India is a combination of so many factors. And we have a network of around 680 monitoring stations, which are located across 300 cities across India. As you know, India is very, very huge. 1.4 billion is the population. And we have around 2,000 to 3,000 cities. So we have zeroed in only on a fraction, that is the 300 cities across India. We indeed want to expand it further. But there are 46 cities, indeed now almost 50, which have population of more than 1 million. And we are focusing on these cities, and the data is available for 42 cities. All cities are within the prescribed limits as far as sulfur dioxide, SOx, is concerned, according to our National Ambient Air Quality Standards. But 12 cities exceed the limits in NOx, that is NO2. The major challenge, of course, like in most of the other countries, is the PM10 and the PM2.5 particulate matters, which we are now monitoring all across the country. Apart from this, we are also monitoring carbon monoxide, ammonia, lead, ozone, benzene, benzopyrene, arsenic, and nickel. And these are being located and monitored at very, very select locations. If we look at the standards that India is following, these standards have been set out transparently. Now these standards, how do they compare internationally? See, that's a question that would be definitely agitating the mind of experts. The norms for the particulate matter, that is PM10 and PM2.5, are within the WHO guidelines. But they're relaxed if you compare them with the EU norms. But the Indian norms for carbon monoxide, lead, hydrocarbons, ammonia, benzene are very, very stringent. In fact, they're more stringent than the US, EU, or the WHO guidelines. But then we have been talking about non-attainment cities. Given these standards, if you look at the last 5 years, how many cities can really be called non-attainment cities? Now, like everything in India, the number is pretty big. It's 100. Out of the 300 cities that we are monitoring, 100 cities are called the non-attainment cities, which exceed the national standard for 5 consecutive years. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be asking, what are we going to do about it? The next theme is the participation of cities, just after this tea break, which will be in 2-3 minutes' time, I'm sure. These 100 cities which are non-attainment cities will now be covered under a national clean air program, which will just be launched. The document has been approved. All of us talk about Delhi, but what about the breakup of the Delhi's pollution levels? Road dust is around 15 to 29%. Construction is 22 to 23%. Transport is only 9 to 15, 20%. But transport, there is a lot of focus on transport. The point we are making in India is we have to look at all these sectors holistically and also look at things like garbage burning, biomass burning, which contribute to this. If you look at trend of air pollution in Delhi, as far as SO2 is concerned, SOx, there is a decreasing trend, but NO2s, NOx and PM10 levels, they exceed the prescribed norms. You know, we have been worried about these vehicles. Any wild guess how many vehicles are plying in Delhi registered? Any wild guess? How many vehicles will be plying in Delhi? 1, 2, 3, nobody? Yeah, you are close to that. It's nearly 10 million. And 10 million vehicles are plying in the capital city of Delhi. To manage this kind of a country and manage air pollution of these levels, we have the Air Quality Index, which was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, in April 2015. It's a composite index, and the composite index, it gives daily reports. Now you ask me, what is the utility of this Air Quality Index? India being the largest democracy, we believe that once you have a number or a series of numbers that are scientifically generated, it would encourage public participation and awareness more than anything else. The people would know and they would demand that if this is the air I am breathing, what's my government doing for improving this? This is a very, very significant thing that we have done. It's a tool that transforms the various weighted values of individual air pollution related parameters into a single number or a series of numbers. And we have 8 pollutants in this particular list. While evolving this air quality index, the entire process was scientifically done, and we have referred literature of the following international standards. They are the Green Index, the Fenstock Air Quality Index, the Ontario API, the Oak Ridge Air Quality Index, Greater Vancouver Air Quality Index. I think we have a delegate from Vancouver here in this hall. We have the most undesirable respirable contaminants index and the Detroit Index. Therefore, we have ensured that whatever we have done is not something indigenous or confined to India, but it's internationally benchmarked. Therefore, when we take out these numbers, they have a certain credibility. Now, what is the trend in India? Everybody talks about Delhi. If you look at Delhi, SOx has been showing a downward trend. Now, that's because there is reduction of sulfur in diesel, and we are using cleaner fuels like CNG and LPG, but the fluctuating trends are in NOx, NO2, and PM10 levels. India has taken a large number of measures for the abatement of air pollution. First is we are conducting the source apportionment studies for the fine particulate matter. We are strengthening the National Ambient Air Quality Monitoring Network. We are instituting continuous ambient air quality monitoring systems. And most important regarding the vehicles, which everybody worries about, we are going to jump from BS, that is Bharat standard, which is very near the EU standard. From the BS4, we'll leapfrog to BS6. We'll bypass the BS5 stage. In India, the total number of vehicles which are registered is almost, any guesses? The gentleman who guessed about the 12 million, how many in the entire country, India, how many vehicles registered? Well, once the electric cars come, we would like to get to that number. But now we are at 175 million number of vehicles. And what percentage of these vehicles are two-wheelers? What percentage of these vehicles, 175 million, are two-wheelers? The scooties, the motorcycles, the scooters. What percentage? 20, 30? 75%. 75% of the vehicles are, of course, two-wheelers. So we are very, very technology sensitive. We are looking at alternate fuels, CNG, LPG, biofuels. And just 10 days back, we had the International Solar Alliance, where investment worth 1 billion euros has been announced. India will now be heading the renewable energy initiatives. Therefore, India is taking a lot of steps. The National Green Tribunal has now said that all vehicles in Delhi which are 10 years old, diesel-driven vehicles, will be off the road. All 15-year vehicles will be scrapped and never re-registered. And the National Clean Air Program is about to be launched, and we invite all of you to participate in the World Environment Day. I am the third final speaker of this session. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies and distinguished delegates, for sharing with all of us your specific government policies and commitments in combating air pollution.